Hello, welcome to CS201. Today I'm going to be going over an app known as the Contoso University app. And this is a downloadable file, a downloadable project from the official MSDN site. I will show you where that is in a moment, but first let me show you the overall page. So this is Contoso University with home, about, students, courses, instructors, and departments. It's basically a sort of a SIS kind of thing. It looks a lot better than SIS, I guess, right? But it's like got a list of students, courses, instructors, departments, that kind of stuff. Kind of goes into showing the complexity of the task, and even though I just bashed on SIS, it's a very complex task with a lot of complex stuff involved in order to get all this done. So, this kind of goes a little ways into explaining what some of that complexity is, and let's get right into it. So first of all, I got this from the MSDN site, which is up here. So code.msdn.microsoft.com/ASP.NET MVC application B019FE8. So if you want to check that out, you can actually download the entire thing here, and it will be a great tool for you to learn ASP.NET. It goes through everything from creating a data model to performing basic create operations, destroy, create, recover, update, and destroy operations. CRUD, that's what that stands for. These are database operations, the basic database operations. And then filtering and ordering and grouping data, working with related data, command interception, asynchronous code, that kind of thing. So kind of goes through all of this. I did want to originally show you a brief glimpse of what I'm working on, but I did not get permission to do that. We're actually using something called Model View Model. If you type in Model View Model versus MVC, you'll see a lot of discussion about that. They're very closely related. Here's a guy on Stack Overflow that explains the difference, but not that I think you should be getting your advice from Stack Overflow all the time, but basically the main difference with Model View Model is that in Model View Model, we see that, here's a good image of it. We see that basically in Model View Controller, there is a view, a controller, and a model. With Model View Model, there's a different way of looking at that. Let me show you an example of that. Model View Model looks like this, where basically the presentation logic is contained in the view model, the UI code behind is contained in the view, and then the model is contained over here. This is actually what I'm working on. Slightly different from the Model View Controller, because in the Model View Controller, we see that basically the controller exists between the view and the model. Here, the view model exists between the view and the model. But basically all the information is going back and forth from the view to the model, view model to the model, from the view model to the view. And the view and the model don't necessarily need to talk together at all. So that's one of the main differences between these two. Anyway, if you download that from the page that I sent you there, you will end up with this project, Contoso University, the project. And it actually has a built-in SQL database to it. So what you have to do is you have to extract those files and run some updates on the in the package manager. And once you do that, you get this entire project, which has its controllers, its models, its view models, and its views. So you can see that this one is typical to MVVM and MVC in that they're now incorporating the idea of view models into the MVC pattern, which is not totally unheard of either. to be interchanging these things. It's totally fine. So the important things I want to cover would be, you know, the basics of this. I don't really want to get into the full details of MVC and MVVM in this class, but I do want you to understand that basically, see how it says localhost 41787 and then /department. That means that department has an index, and that's what we're looking at right now. So views, department, index, we're looking at the index right now. So if we look at that, we see that there's action links for create new and create. Yep, for create new rather. That is an action link that's up at the top. Departments is the H2. The action link for create that goes to create, so that's an action link. This is a bit of Razor code that says make an ahref that goes from a create to the create page, which goes here. View bag title is departments. And then we've got some table headings. So we have a table header for model name, budget, start date, and administrator. And then we have a for each loop that goes through and displays all of the various items. So here we're displaying model item where we're looking at item.name in each of the model items. We're looking at item.budget in each of the model items. So in this for each loop, it's going through all of the items in the model which was given to it. And every time it comes up with a name, it displays that as part of a new cell. And then this budget is displayed in a new cell, then the start date, then the administrator full name, so on and so forth. So what else would I like you to know about this? Basically, the controller is another important thing to look at. So you pretty much know with MVVM and MVC that anytime we have a view page like this, like create, delete, edit, details, all of these are within department. There's going to be a department controller that controls that action. And sure enough, we've got a department controller right here. So we have an index that gets the various departments. This returns the view of the list of departments. This gets the details of the departments. Here's the action result create. And there's quite a bit more complexity in here because we're dealing with authentication and preventing from overposting attacks and a few other things. The other important thing to note about this is it is using SQL or SQL, commonly known as. It's kind of up for grabs still. A lot of people pronounce it SQL. I personally like SQL, but I think I'm losing the battle on that one. So anyway, this is a SQL statement. Select star from department where department equals @PO. This is actually selecting all the departments and getting all the details from it and returning those back. You'll learn about that in CS201. And then remember that each one of these is going to have its own controller. So, and then underneath those, the model is actually the underlying thing. So the departments is the department ID, the name, the budget, all of that stuff is stored in the database, and it all goes through the controller to be displayed in the view. Those are the important things to know about this. So we have add, details, delete. Each of these is an action on departments on the department controller. See, there's an edit, there's a create, There's a couple edits for various reasons that I'm not going to get into. Here's a delete. So that's about it for what I wanted to show with the Contoso University example. And I think we're basically near the end of this, so I will leave you at that. Hopefully you enjoyed the course this summer and got something out of it. I will be seeing you again. I'm almost certain of that in future courses in CS256. The only reason I say almost certain is I know some of you are majors, some of you are not. If you are a major, you'll definitely be seeing me again in things like CS256, CS232, and a variety of other courses. So it was good getting to know you a little bit, and we will see you later.